5 years. All right, Bukes, let's start with a couple of so Miami. Joy likes Miami over Philly. I think Philly's got more talent, better closers, but it's there's a lot of stuff to juggle here. Maxi's ascending. Yeah. Embiid's hurt. Harden's declining. There's a lot of egos and chemistry. Who do you like in the series? Philly, Miami, and why?
I actually like Philadelphia if they continue to play the way that they are playing. Particularly defensively, their wings, I want to see how Tyler Hero is going to be able to continue to score at the clip that he has when he's being defended by Tobias Harris or Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia 76ers have long athletic wings, and that, I believe, is going to be a challenge for Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson or whoever's coming off and has to be those wing scorers. On the other side of it, it's really a matter of, can you make James Harden work? Because when he's getting places and he's not getting to the free throw line, if you can make him work and put the ball on the floor to create and not allow him to get to the foul line, all of it, which is a long laundry list, then the George Niangs and the Danny Greens they're not the type that are going to create their own shots.
Sure.
And so that for me is at the heart of it, making Harden and Embiid work. And if you can do that, then I think Miami has a chance. But otherwise, if Philadelphia, just the way they're playing defensively, I like their chances.
Okay. Chris Middleton is out. That's more on Giannis. I think Giannis is a tough matchup for Boston, but I also think Boston's defense is going to limit everybody else. Who do you like and why in that series?
I still like Milwaukee. I prefer Chris Middleton being there, but everybody threw up their hands and went, oh no, Chris Middleton's out. Chicago is going to make this a series. And we saw how quickly that changed. So I just believe there's another level that Giannis can go to. And to your point, who's going to defend him? I've heard Al Horford. There's no chance that Al Horford is going to be able to defend this Giannis Antetokounmpo. So they're going to have to start looking to double team him, much like Chicago did. And as a result, what Giannis has demonstrated is that he can play out of that mid post. He can get guys, he can find guys, and he can score from there with mid-range shots enough to keep them honest. So I just believe that Boston, for what they did against Brooklyn, I believe everybody's taking that as a referendum on how good their defense is. And make no mistake, their defense is really good. But I believe that we've been given it's been inflated by the issues that Brooklyn had. Okay. Brooklyn was a lot easier to figure out than this Milwaukee Bucks team.
Okay, so let's move to Brooklyn. I'd move off Kyrie. I think Kevin Durant, if he would have been more confrontational, would still be a warrior, but he wouldn't sit down with Draymond and hash it out. He's not confrontational. I think he's got to go upstairs to the owner and say, you got to give me something here. I don't care what we get nickels on the dollar. You got to give me something here. I'd move Kyrie. Would you?
Yes, I would. If you're talking about trying to win a championship, you're not winning it with Kyrie Irving. I know he has won a championship, but that was in a different time and place. And now we have a Kyrie Irving who seems to be about everything but doing his particular job. I was astonished at two things. One, going back and listening to what he said before he even heard Steve Nash's plan. It was, we don't need a coach. We don't need somebody coming in and implementing their coaching philosophy, running sprints on the first day of practice. This was before training camp had even opened. So he didn't even give Steve Nash an opportunity. And now we get 2 years later, we've had all of the disappointment for the Brooklyn Nets. And where is Kyrie Irving? Well, I'm going to go upstairs with Joe Tsai, the owner, and Sean Marks, the GM, and KD, Kyrie, and the four of us are going to figure this out and figure out which players we need. And I'm thinking, Kyrie, could you just show up and do your job on the floor? Could you just be a basketball player and demonstrate that you can take advantage of your unbelievable skill? That would be the first thing for me, is Kyrie Irving looking in the mirror and saying, I have one of the best handles in the game. I am one of the best shot makers and shot creators for myself in the game. Why am I not sniffing a championship at this point? And I believe it's because his focus is on everything else but what Kyrie Irving is best at. And I don't know or have any reason to believe that is going to change. And so it's just more trouble than it's worth. I don't know how you make him part of that equation, particularly to your point with Kevin Durant being the de facto number one player on the team who isn't going to call Kyrie out, who isn't going to demand a different approach and a different behavior. So however they go about it, I'm moving off of Kyrie and it may take me a year or two extra, but I'm moving off of Kyrie if I really have interest in winning a championship.
All right, so I think the Suns will beat Dallas. It'll be fun, but they'll beat them. One more. We got about 90 seconds, 2 minutes on Donovan Mitchell. Yep. Listen, Quinn Snyder's not happy. Everything has to go right for them to win. Rudy Gobert's not really an offensive outlet. Donovan Mitchell's probably a 2, not a 1. There's a lot of talk about Donovan Mitchell saying, hey, man, get me somewhere. What is the latest? What do you hear? I like Utah. They're well run, but I don't think they're close. And I think now they got a new owner. What happens to Donovan Mitchell?
I would expect that they're going to move in an entirely new direction. As you said, ownership, they inherited all of this. And it is a flawed roster. There's just no getting around the fact that they want to play a slower style and just don't have enough athletes to be able to match up with all the wings in the Western Conference. I've been hearing all year long that Donovan Mitchell is not long for Utah, and I had one scout tell me months ago Utah is a first-round exit from Donovan Mitchell asking to be moved to New York. So we'll see if that scout is on to anything, but the fact that he left the door open only fits with what I've been hearing all year long. I don't know that the relationship between him and Rudy was ever fully resolved from going back to when the entire COVID incident happened. They made it work, but I don't know that they ever got back on the same page completely.
So I like you, I like the Sixers in a long series. I like the Bucks in a long series. And I think Memphis is going to wear out Minnesota and wrap that thing up. I think Phoenix ends up beating Dallas. Entertaining series, but they're a better team. Dallas is not there yet. Not enough of a bench. I also think Memphis, a lot of energy to get through Minnesota more than they thought. Yeah. And my takeaway is that they'll be extinguished quickly against the Warriors. You buy that?
I'm not there. I can't wait to see that series, but I believe that Memphis can, because of their athletic wings, they're going to test to see exactly how healthy Steph Curry is and whether they can integrate Steph Curry and Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson. Because what we've seen through this series is Jordan Poole was huge going early on. And then once Steph got going, Jordan Poole disappeared these last couple of games.
He did, yeah.
In order to move on and to beat Memphis and Phoenix, they're going to need all of those pieces being efficient at the same time. And I'll be very Dillon Brooks and Desmond Bane are going to create an entirely different challenge for Jordan Poole and Steph Curry than the Denver Nuggets were able to pose.
Bukes, great seeing you. Have a good weekend, bud.
You too.
All right. Donovan Mitchell, I think it's time for Utah. Good organization. We've hit a ceiling. You can just keep rinsing, repeating, but we know what they are, and it's time to move on. It's just at some point, just being good is not good enough. Joy Taylor with the news.